So here are a few questions that you guys have given me. This year marks my 11-year anniversary from when my symptoms first started. I've only been diagnosed for 7 years though. It took me 4 years to get diagnosed. My ME started with an ear infection and about 2 months later the ME started, and I had a lot of tests. As I know now, ME doesn't show up in blood tests, but my GP kept different GPs because anyone in the UK knows you very rarely see the same one twice. Yeah, so I saw an awful lot of doctors for 4 years, and my actual diagnosis came from a random appointment with a locum GP who'd never seen me before, had a quick look through my file and said, "I think you've got ME, but don't worry about it." ME is a disability, and I think that being diagnosed like that is disgusting. But anyway, yeah, and this time round is actually my second period of having ME. I had ME in my childhood as well, between the ages of 13 and 15. An awful lot of blood tests. I was even sent to, my mum was mortified, I was even sent to the local GUM clinic, like where they do STIs and things, just to rule out other things. But now, after watching a panorama thing, we're now wondering whether they were wondering to rule out like abuse and stuff like that. No, not. Well, it was all a complete random accident really. Where I used to work, someone was looking after a teddy called Papa Smurf. Anyone that follows Formula 1 will have heard of Papa Smurf. Jenson Button's dad died, he was called Papa Smurf, so the Formula 1 community started sending a teddy around the world to raise awareness of his illness. So that gave me the idea of sending something around the world to raise awareness of ME, but at that point I had no idea what it was going to look like, what it was going to be called. It was going to be different because I was going to do awareness talks as well and raise money, because Papa Smurf, as far as I'm aware, doesn't fundraise. Anyway, yeah, so that's where the initial idea came from, and it was only supposed to be a 1-year campaign, but it got so very well received that it's now a long-term taking over my life for years to come, naturally evolving organic thing. Yeah, and like God knows where it's going to end up, but yeah, just keep plodding along. I have started looking into turning Foggy into a business, so a social enterprise, because my biggest dream that I'm going to be working towards, but I've got no idea if it's possible, is to offer some kind of training for healthcare professionals and education professionals. At the moment, I'm thinking some kind of software where they buy the license to distribute it amongst schools and hospitals and doctors and things like that. Because, as we all know, I do not have the energy to go to every single school and training university, this, that and the other, to train doctors, nurses, everybody else. I'm just a one-person organisation at the moment. So, I've now started looking into turning Foggy into a social enterprise through something called Social Startup, which is being run by the University of Portsmouth. The training's not as intensive, it's local, it's like a 5-week course of a couple of Wednesday afternoons. I'm hoping I'm going to learn all the stuff I need to learn to turn Foggy into a social enterprise. So yeah, so my biggest dream is to train people on what ME is. Because as we all know, doctors don't get any training. They learn on the job, and in the UK, all they do is they go to the NHS Choices website. So we could diagnose ourselves. So there we go, that's why they need training. And most of our symptoms aren't covered on the NHS Choices website. It's just a case of, oh, well, it could be your ME, so let's not worry about that, it's probably an ME symptom. No, you need to know what you're doing. There's actually two things. One is I've always been a bit of a booky person. The whole time I was growing up, I was like a couple of years ahead of my reading age, so I used to read stories to the class when I was at primary school, and I was reading books that are at a higher level than I should have been. Always had my head in a book, absolutely loved reading. Then I did an English literature degree and fell in love with books even more. and then 2 years later, now I can't read more than a couple of pages before I lose the thread of what I'm reading. I don't even bother with books now. So anytime I go to a course and it's all read, I struggle. I cannot compute. I need to listen and watch. I can't read, it doesn't work. The second thing is I've always been known as social Sal. Since I became legal enough to drink, I've always been a bit of a party girl. Not like, well, UK people know, not like lad culture, but you know, I like a drink. I love being social. I love going out dancing. I love weekends away, catching up with friends. So to go from that to having maybe three nights out a year, and that's, I have to plan my energy levels for a whole week to manage it, a night out. And most of my friends now just take me out for lunch, and even then I'm tired. So, you know, that's what I miss. I miss being able to do what I want, when I want, and being social. So it's not necessarily the alcohol, I just like going out and having fun. But yeah, I do miss it. I love rugby days out. Yeah, but yeah, so there you go, that's what it's stolen from me. In fact, I'm going to insert my Missing Millions photo, cocktail glass and a pair of high heels. That's me, that sums me up pre-ME. Is that ME is like kryptonite. It steals an essential life resource. So you know how Superman collapses when he's anywhere near kryptonite? That's how we feel daily. You can't do anything with no energy. Think, move, communicate. Can't do any of it. That's what I need people to understand. It's not that, you know, we've got something that's just pain or just this or just that. We can't function. And then a lot of us have got I'm getting more pain, but not me really. I don't get the pain side of ME. Thankfully, very grateful for that. But it's not something that we can get over. If you don't have the energy, if our batteries are flat, we can't live normal lives. That's what we need non-ME sufferers to realise. So when people say, oh, just get on with it, you can't get on with it. Getting on with it means laying in bed all day, every day, while everybody else gets on with their lives. Anyway, there you go. If you've got any questions for me, please do get in touch, however random. I don't mind, I'm an open book. But yeah, I hope that's filled in a few spaces for you. Thank you very much.